Nothing new here. Remember, you have your bigger parallel channel on the charts. High pivot from 2017 right through these highs. If it goes up to 107, 108 to 1,000, that would be your major resistance. And as long you favor that as the most probable outcome, as long as we don't confirm below 91,000. If we do confirm below 91,000,
Bitcoin Zella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now, guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoin Zella today and enjoy the new edge. In this video, Gareth Soloway dives deep into Bitcoin's technical analysis, unraveling its current trends and future projections. From key chart patterns to price predictions, let's catch him to learn more.
it opens floodgates to maybe go back to 74 to 75,000. But right now, bullish bias remains, even with it being down on the day. Gold today, a little bit of an uptick here. Notice the classic bear flag. If you've taken the winning trader series, you know you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that's approaching a time count. So that tells us that if the bear flag is going to play out, it should start to play out as early as tomorrow on that key time count. If it does push up, any close above 27.15 would negate the bearishness and flip the bias back or the probability back to the bullish side. Silver, same thing. Silver is actually performing decently well today, up about 1.5%, but it's still mired in this support level here with a parallel right through here. And so again, if we do rally up, this will be resistance at 31.65 with technical support at 29.85. If 29.85 breaks, you're going down to basically 28 or just below. If this breaks to the upside, we could then start tracking back to the $35 level. But basically, at this point, you're stuck inside of this little range here, these two parallel lines, keeping price in check. All right, oil today actually getting a little bit of a bounce, not too big. In fact, here, if we go to the daily, there's your bounce on it. Right now, up about 99 cents. Still mired in this kind of lower level of volatility on oil as it looks for direction going into the Trump administration and the drill baby drill kind of atmosphere. And then natural gas right here, folks, down on the day again. If you're more aggressive than me, you might get a bounce off of this $3 to $3.05 level. I'm not going to play it because I just don't have enough upside bias for the risk that I'd be taking on. But again, folks, if we ever come back down to this 240-ish area right here, you can see a combination of support levels right through here. This area would be such a good technical level. Let me do a fib on that too. I always like to do my fibs from high to low. Yeah, look at that. See the fib, the 618 fib right there? It lines right up. This would be such a great buying opportunity if it comes back in, let's say in the next month, down into that 235 to 240 level for a technical bounce. Remember, the key is, guys, and this is really, really important, is that when you have a level on a chart, right? So a lot of times I'll just say, oh, this is a gap fill, it's going to be support. But if you really want to be that 80, 90% success rate trader or investor, you want to find multiple factors at a level. And right there on natural gas, we looked at a level where not only were there two trend lines that were converging, but there was a Fibonacci as well that increases your probabilities of success. And remember, that's what it's all about here, is just making sure that we put the probabilities as high as possible. We're seeing that the markets, after closing yesterday, right in this range right here, right? Pretty quiet now. And again, sideways chop. Now, we were trending up a little bit going into the open today. We're still about 30 minutes away from that open. And then we did get a nice little sell candle right here. So let's watch and see. But ultimately, my point being is that there's not a lot of price action. If we look at where the markets have gone since yesterday after hours, it is pretty much sideways as all investors are waiting for the JOLTS data. Now, what is the JOLTS data, folks? All right, so we have JOLTS being reported, JOLTS, and that is job openings. So job openings data. Now, this is, again, going to be coming out at 10 a.m. today. It didn't used to be a huge number, but it's becoming more and more of a big economic number as we look to see how the labor market is doing. And ultimately, does this number give us a clue as to whether the Fed will cut rates in December in a couple of weeks, or will they stay on the sidelines? And what will they do next year as well? Now, we did have some Fed officials coming out and speaking yesterday, and they did guide us to believing the Fed is still on pace to cut rates in December, but then paused for multiple months into the new year to see what happens with tariffs, what happens with inflation. And by the way, we do know that inflation has become sticky, at least in the near term, as it's not going down to that 2% level anymore, instead kind of sticking around 2.5%. The question is, does it start to uptick just a little bit? Now, with the S&P, usually what I do is I go to the daily chart of the S&P. We're going to take it a little bit differently today because, again, there's just not much price movement. Instead, we're going to look at the bigger picture. I'm going to go to a chart here that shows the NASDAQ going back to the 2000s. And the reason I want to show you this is because, again, as a technician of the charts, you have to know the short-term picture.
Bitcoin's recent price action suggests a cooling-off phase as the cryptocurrency hovers between $91,000 and $98,000, signaling potential consolidation before its next major move. A key metric, the market value to realized value, MVRV ratio, currently sits at plus 4.2%, indicating a market slightly above the typical correction threshold. Historically, an MVRV ratio above plus 5% signals overbought conditions, while levels below 5% suggest undervaluation, making this a critical metric to watch. Resistance at $98,000 and the psychological $100,000 level has proven challenging for Bitcoin, as momentum has hesitated at these points. Meanwhile, support at $91,000 remains strong, bolstered by significant trading volume. Should this level fail, the next major support is at $81,500, aligned with Bitcoin's 50-day moving average. This range-bound movement reflects a cautious market as investors assess whether Bitcoin will break higher or pull back further. Retail investors, particularly those who entered in late November, are experiencing small losses, which has contributed to a stabilization in market capitalization. Analysts predict that a breakout above $100,000 could reignite bullish momentum and push Bitcoin to new highs. Conversely, a break below $91,000 might signal a deeper correction. For now, Bitcoin's sideways movement underscores the importance of closely monitoring key levels in market sentiment as the next big trend looms.
Which is what we usually cover right at the open, kind of going into those opens. What kind of levels are we looking for a breakdown or a breakout in? But we also want to see the bigger picture of the market. And honestly, it's a little scary. I'm not going to lie. Valuations were basically 2 standard deviations extended on the market from the normal trend. Again, that's a big deviation from what would be considered normal or safe in the markets. And this chart right here, the NASDAQ, looking at the logarithmic scale, look at the .com high right here. If you take that .com high and you connect it to the 2021 high, you have it right there. That extends out, and the NASDAQ, again, is bubbling right up against that high. Now, looking at the lower end, this is what's so crazy about this market, is that, you have these crises, right? The financial crisis, the COVID crisis, the bear market of 2022, and you would say, man, no one could have ever predicted, who knew how low they were going to go, but somehow the charts knew. And what do I mean by that? Well, very simply, if we take the financial crisis low here in 2009 and we connect it exactly to the low of COVID on the logarithmic chart, we can see that it gave us the exact low of the bear market in 2022. Using probability, using extrapolating that kind of idea, what does it tell us that we might be ready for in the NASDAQ 100? And that would be a correction back to that line. So again, notice how every time you bubble up against this line, we get a pullback of significance. And the idea being is that maybe right here, we are due for a pullback to the trend line, the lower end of the trend line.
Tron's native token, TRX, captured the spotlight with a dramatic God candle on December 3, skyrocketing by 70% in 24 hours to reach a new all-time high of $0.45. This remarkable surge marked a 140% rise from its November low of $0.16 and showcased an impressive 94% increase over the past week. Accompanied by unprecedented market activity, daily spot trading volumes soared to $14.6 billion, a 510% jump in just one day, underscoring intense investor interest. This explosive rally has propelled TRX back into the top 10 cryptocurrencies by market capitalization, surpassing Avalanche. TRX's market value climbed 65% in a single day to $32.84 billion, reinforcing its status as a dominant altcoin. Tron's founder, Justin Sun, celebrated the milestone, emphasizing the network's resilience and growth over its 6-year history. Key metrics like open interest have also surged, rising 180% to a multi-year high of $438.3 million. Elevated funding rates suggest bullish sentiment, hinting at a potential continuation of TRX uptrend. Analysts project ambitious targets, with some forecasting a climb to $1.11 or even $1.80. Still, caution persists. Some market observers warn of a possible correction towards $0.33, emphasizing the need for careful monitoring as TRX navigates its next steps in this volatile phase. If you've been with us so far, a big thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for free to Bitcoin Zella for your daily news. The link is waiting below. That's all for today's crypto news. Stick around for more updates, insights, and analysis on cryptocurrencies. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more exciting content.